Young Thug's lawyers were just cooking in the YSL RICO trial. It's a very common tactic when a new judge enters a trial to try to make the point of pressuring the new judge for a mistrial. It would be announced today. On late Friday, attorney Max told Judge Page that he had filed a new motion for a fair trial. This motion comes after the attorneys found out about another ex parte meeting on June 7th.
So I recently filed while we were in court, a motion for a fair trial, seeking remedies. Oh, and I will email, it was just filed. And I will email it over.
As Max is a part of Young Thug's legal team, he's bringing up an issue that the prosecutors had an illegal meeting to gain evidence on Young Thug outside of the courtroom with outside sources. He wanted the judge to investigate it, however his motion was denied right after the courtroom. This would go on to make Max and his partners come to the following day in court, screaming right at the judge in front of everyone.
Well, you know, the problem, Your Honor, is that since this was an ex parte meeting that should probably have never taken place. You were not there. I was not there. My fellow outside agitators weren't there. We don't have a video of it. So I have no idea specifically if that was not referred to us. We don't know, do we? We don't know. And what I do know is that I have been arguing with people for 18 months that Chief Judge Glanville was doing his best, that he was trying to rule to the best of his ability based on the evidence and the law before him. And now I have been made to look like an idiot. So I do not believe that this trial should continue, Your Honor.
As this would end up going viral on social media, Lil Baby would even react saying, "It's about time, Thug's coming home. Slime's been in the cell too long, the trial is over, and the judge is crazy." Even 42 Doug would go on to say,
"Have you been tapped into the YSL case at all, and how do you think that's been?"
I've been trying to watch a little bit.
Do you think it's being mishandled?
I think it should have been dismissed. The shit with the judge that just happened. Crazy, like trying to send his lawyer to jail. From the outside looking in, it's looking like they got something against him.
As lawyers online would review the latest evidence and give Young Thug his release date. But to understand when, you first need to understand how the entire mess started, as it would be announced that Judge Glanville had been recused from the YSL RICO trial after Young Thug and his co-defendants petitioned to have him removed. This means that Judge Glanville was officially gone from the YSL case. This would lead into an announcement of Judge Ingram has been assigned as the new judge in the YSL RICO trial. However, lawyers have different opinions on what this truly means because Judge Ingram only lasted 3 hours.
I smell RICO charges. Judge Glanville has been recused from the YSL trial. This is the order from Judge Rachel Krause granting the motion to recuse Judge Glanville from the case. Now, will this case continue with a new judge taking over midway? I don't think so. I think you have to start from scratch, which means new jury. That new judge is going to have to come up to speed with all of the evidentiary rulings that have happened in this case, and then you start all over again. When is this trial supposed to finish? 2030? It's a damn shame because this guy probably had a great long career. He was the chief judge in Fulton County. He's a military veteran. He's probably a very accomplished individual, but his legacy will be nothing more than he was extremely biased. He had it out for the defendants.
As even the famous rap lawyer believes, the RICO charges against 20 YSL members are now non-existent. Judge Glanville was at the top of the food chain in the legal system, and he even folded in the YSL trial. Judge Ingram would only go on to last 3 hours before also exiting the YSL RICO trial, as lawyers are believing that no judge will be up to the task of this case. The famous rap lawyer would then go on to label Young Thug's next move.
What's next in the YSL case? We have a new judge. Judge Ingram has been assigned the case. You're going to see a couple of motions filed by each of the defendants. First, they're going to file a motion for bond. Second, they're going to file a motion for a mistrial. The bond argument is easy. They're going to argue he's been locked up forever. Now he's going to be locked up for God knows how long is forever. Can we get him a bond? The argument for a mistrial is going to be very interesting. They're going to go to Judge Ingram and they're going to say, Judge Ingram, you're going to have to pick up this case midway. You're going to have to make all these rulings going forward. But before you can do that, you got to read about everything that's happened. You got to read about the court transcript, every line from the longest trial in Georgia history. This is already the longest trial ever. Then you're going to have to read about all the motions, evidentiary objections, pre-trial rulings, in-trial rulings. It's going to take you God knows how long before the trial is ready to resume. And will the jury be ready to resume? They've already been out for weeks.
As shortly after, this is then when it would be announced that the third judge in the YSL RICO trial would be ready to go. Her name is Judge Paige. On her first day of being the new YSL judge, Thug's legal team sent in 20 motions for a mistrial and for a bond. As due to this, lawyers have predicted that Thug's lawyer is going to be yelling for a mistrial this week. Even Kodak Black's lawyer said, "The case and the judge is off the reservation. This is an instant mistrial. I cannot believe the judge thinks having a defense attorney into custody isn't a mistrial." As for some reason, Judge Glanville thought that it was okay to have Young Thug's defense attorney Brian arrested in the middle of the courtroom.
Take Mr. Steele into custody, please. Yes, sir, you certainly may. Mr. Williams does not wish to go forward without me being here. You are removing me against his will, my will. You're taking away his right to counsel. And you're conducting material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial.
Judge Glanville wanted him arrested because Brian Steele wasn't snitching on Young Thug. The prosecutors are trying to pin evidence against Young Thug for allegedly taking someone's life. However, Brian Steele got intel from a source of his relating that YSL Woody was actually the guilty one. However, only the judge's corner was supposed to know about that evidence for right now. This is why the judge would go on to ask Brian Steele, "How in the world do you know this? And if you don't snitch, you'll be arrested."
Note that for purposes of record. Well, I'm going forward. What I was told was that Mr. Copeland said, and you haven't answered my question yet. I'm not. How did you answer that question? You're not? No, I will not answer that question. Why will you not answer that question? Because I want to make sure that what I say is accurate, and I'm not trying to... No. I'm asking you, how did you get this information? I'm not telling the court. What I'm saying is based upon information. Okay, well, listen, if you don't tell me how you got this information, then you and I are going to have some problems. We can have this. I have problems right now. Okay, I know. Look, I don't want to know about your problems, okay, at this point in time. All I'm asking you at this point in time is, how did you come upon this information? Look, if the case gets reviewed, the record's going to be available for our appellate court and for whatever reason. But it's disturbing that how somehow you have surreptitiously gotten information in regards to the court's private ex parte conversation with a party. I mean, yes. A witness?
As right here, Thug's lawyer Brian Steele is standing on business for his client Young Thug, sticking to the literal street code of never snitch, never tell. Sources inside of the courtroom mentioned that Thug was shaking his head up and down, showing that he respects what his lawyer just did. However, the madness would not end here. Reports would then come out sharing that Young Thug's co-counsel Keith Adams had the exact same information that Brian Steele had about YSL Woody being the guilty one, and if he's being arrested, he needs to as well. He would go on to file a motion for a mistrial, leaving hip-hop reporters sharing, "The Young Thug YSL trial is in shambles. Surely this is a mistrial within 24 hours." While rappers reacted saying, "Give Thug a mistrial and free slime." Now the mistrial hope will happen for one specific reason, and allow me to explain. It's all based on the prosecutors not doing their jobs correctly. It would go and read, "The judge in Young Thug's trial was just arguing with the state because they were unprepared with evidence."
That's too late. The evidence is excluded. The evidence is excluded. I'm going to exclude because I told you that this was going to happen. No. We're excluding that. This is the last. I am not going to tolerate this any further. If you don't get together with your colleagues and flag issues and resolve them promptly, and if I have to take them up, remember, I can exclude them, we'll work the weekends, or we'll do a combination of both. So this time, I'm going to exclude those two sections.
There's nothing.
I'm not going to have any more discussion about this, madam. I'm not. I don't. Well, you know what?
And I attempted to try to talk to them earlier this week.
Well, then that's why we have to.
The court punishes the state because the defense
I'm not punishing anybody.
Now, this led into the prosecutors having a meltdown inside of the courtroom, as it would be announced an ex-investigator with the Atlanta Police Department took the stand under cross-examination on Monday. During one moment, former investigator Lakia got into a brief exchange with defense attorney Max.
And D'Angelo White's response was, we had, correct?
Yes, he did say that, and it was more to that as well.
We had guns and
Yes, he stated that.
Okay. We, being plural, correct? Correct?
Are you insulting my intelligence by asking if we means plural? I think you are, though.
Okay.
I think you are.
All right, well,
Sir, don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, sir, let's be respectful to our witness,
I'm being very respectful, Judge, and I always will.
I doubt it.
As Young Thug's legal team is consistently arguing that the Atlanta Police Department are trying to lie about evidence on Young Thug. Thug's main lawyer would even call out the entire Atlanta Police Department for lying, which reads, "Your Honor, as my eyes roll, I'm about to show you why I don't believe the city of Atlanta at all."
I have
no recording of whom.
Detective Lewis at the hospital, Grady Hospital, September 11, 2013, meets with Walter Murphy. And Your Honor, as my eyes roll out of my head, I'm about to show you why I do not believe the City of Atlanta Police Department at all. This is served in discovery. I will mark it Mr. Williams C and D. And then you tell me if I'm supposed to believe the allegations from the state of Georgia.
However, this is where everything would get heated inside of the courtroom, and allow me to explain. The judge would first call out Young Thug's attorney for stating that the Atlanta Police Department lies about evidence, because this could truly affect Brian Steele's future career if he keeps on cutting ties with the police departments.
Well, not conceding that?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I haven't heard anything that would indicate that's truth.
Yeah, well,
you have a good faith basis to ask that.
You haven't heard anything of who he spoke with. That's my point.
That's the point.
But you all can't. But you two, neither one of you can proffer that.
Judge,
it's not proper, Mr. Steele.
No. Listen.
It's not. It would be a violation before me for you to put that in front of this jury.
In the September 17, 2000.
You are saying to the court that you have a belief that there is another statement out there. There's not.
How could you say that?
Because it hasn't been brought up. If it gets brought up, then we'll correct it at that point in time. But right now, I'm going to direct you not to inquire that line. You don't have a basis to do so.
As the evidence that they are discussing is based around a man named Adrian Bean, the Atlanta police are trying to use evidence against Thug that Bean told them in 2013. However, Adrian now in 2024 says he doesn't remember giving them the evidence. The original report reads, "Keep in mind, Adrian is not bound by a plea deal. He was a part of a 2013 crime where 4 people were involved but 1 escaped and was never caught. They need Bean to snitch on Young Thug on the stand like he did with the police in 2013. However, now he refuses, as Adrian originally snitched on Young Thug in 2013. Young Thug was that one person that escaped and was never caught in that 2013 crime, and the only evidence they have to prove it was that Adrian told them that it was Young Thug in 2013. But because the police took over a decade to start the RICO takedown of Atlanta, Adrian has now forgot about the crime."
After you answer the question, which you have to do.
Because I don't remember nothing that happened in 2013. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I understand. What I have to do is ask you some questions and determine what you do and don't remember. So, what is your response as to whether or not you recognize the images shown in Defendant's Exhibit number 8?
I don't remember.
All right. And I'm going to show you Defendant's Exhibit number 81. Do you recognize what's shown there?
No, ma'am.
All right. What about number 101 for defendant exhibits?
You see a car, but I don't remember it.
Okay, that's fine. Is your answer the same for defendant's exhibit number 82, number 89, and defendant's exhibit 90?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, lots can happen within 11 years, as the crime did occur 11 years ago. Some sources claim that YSL members could have paid Adrian off to not snitch, while others believe that he actually did forget about the crime, as Adrian would go on to reveal why he forgot.
I really don't have any knowledge about 2013, man. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. I don't really have any knowledge about 2013. Once I went to prison and came home from prison and done my time, everything that happened in 2013 or whatever has been put behind me and set forth. So I've been, working and just doing my thing since I came home from prison. I don't have no knowledge of nothing that happened 10 years ago.
This then leads us into the reason of the mistrial happening very soon. The prosecutors need Adrian to snitch. Adrian doesn't want to, so the only evidence they have against Young Thug in a trial that has been going on for over a year now is that Lil Wayne has the same street affiliation as Young Thug.
And are you familiar with who this individual is?
I am.
And who is that?
It's Dwayne Carter.
Okay. And does he have another name that he goes by?
He does.
And what is that?
Lil Wayne.
And are you aware, through any of your non-trained experience, if Mr. Carter, Dwayne Carter, self-identifies as a member of?
I believe that he does.
Okay. Tell the jury if you need to stand with the stick and point to what those identifiers are within Defense Exhibit 31.
There's a large MOB across his chest, often used particularly by West Coast, but is used across the country. He has 5 red 5-point stars across his chest.
As the investigator is trying to prove to the jury that rappers have street affiliations, so the second piece of evidence they would share is with YNW Melly, as the two rappers were involved in a Facebook post together, which could connect their two street teams.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with Young Thug, and he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with the 5-point star as well. Mr. Demons has the big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and see with individuals again, I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.